Just a few minutes ago, you might have been watching this, which was the EA FC25 official reveal trailer. It didn't have a lot of information for career mode, but there was actually quite a lot of information in this, the EA FC25 press release. Now, it might sound like the most boring thing, it's just a list of text, but there's some things in here that are going to change how both career mode works and how much you enjoy it. So I thought it would be really important and a really good idea for us to go through it and talk about some of the things that is in this press release. So if we start at the top, then there's not actually that much information. It just talks about the release date, so the game's coming out on the 27th of September, or if you pre-order it, you can play it from the 20th. But a lot of the trailer was just information about Ultimate Team and some of their new animations in Frostbite, some of the new player faces, and also I think a little bit of a teaser for some of the new tackle types. But we are interested in career mode, so let's see what's in here and do a little bit of a deep dive on the press release. So the first mention of career mode comes in the second paragraph, where EA is talking about their new game mode, which is called Rush, which is 5v5, and I think pretty much just a direct replacement for Volta. It's mainly going to be used in Ultimate Team, Pro Clubs, and Kickoff mode, but also if we go a bit deeper down, you can see that as a single player mode, it is available in Manager Career, where you take control of some Youth Academy players and enter tournaments that are also 5 versus 5. So this is the first time we've ever been able to play as a Youth Academy team. It might be a precursor to one of two things. The first is maybe a new league where you actually manage your youth team, or it's simulated that your youth team actually plays games against other teams from your division. Alternatively, and I think this is probably more interesting, it could be the precursor to an online career mode coming in the next couple of years. You might be wondering why I think this could be leading to online career mode. Well, first of all, this game mode is online in every other mode, but of course crossplay wouldn't really make much sense because you don't want to be playing against Beckham and Del Piero with your Youth Academy players when you're playing against someone in Ultimate Team. Instead, I think maybe next year, this could become an online mode where you play against other teams in your division that are managed by other managers online. I think that would be the first step to the game becoming fully online, and I think it could also be a really good way for the AI to have their own academy teams. I've talked about this in the past where the AI actually only has generated regens. It's the same players coming through over and over again. Whereas if you've got tournaments that mean they have to have a set of 5 players, that could mean that they always have a simulated academy. The Simulated Academy also leads on to that youth leagues that I talked about earlier, and I think this could be actually a surprisingly big change that could change the future of FC25, probably more like FC26 or 27's academy system, and maybe even lead to online career mode. A bit further down, we can see EA talking about FCIQ, which is to do with tactical foundations, and I think it's very similar to how they're doing the animations now, which is done by AI instead of actually motion capture. So tactics are all done by this new FCIQ thing. It has player roles, so I think that's a bit more like Football Manager. So instead of having work rates and things like that, you're going to have players be a poacher or an advanced forward or a target man. And that's going to make the players feel a little bit more different and also probably change how scouting works inside career mode as well. I don't think that this is going to make that big of a difference because EA's been saying that they've been doing this for a long time already, where the AI teams are meant to play like the real world teams. But I think in retrospect, only really Liverpool actually played anything like they did in real life, and that's just because they used to play with a pressure slider all the way up. This paragraph isn't really that big of a deal, but this next one is going to be massive. Live start points puts the player at the center of the biggest real-world storylines as they take place, such as taking over a club after mid-season transfers or managerial shifts. We've also got women's football coming to career mode for the first time ever, which again is going to be a massive thing if you're interested in that. But before we talk about women's football, let's talk about live start points, because this could be one of the biggest features career mode has had for a long time. So we've all seen it in the past where maybe the end of the season is really interesting with a team that wasn't really in a certain position in the past. Live start points, if it works how I imagine it's going to work, would be great if you wanted to manage someone like Everton last year. They got the points deduction, they were right down the bottom of the table, but you could take over them with 3 or 4 games to go and see if you can make them survive. Similarly for Luton Town, who nearly caught up to Nottingham Forest, or Aston Villa when they had a decent chance of winning the league. Arsenal, up until the last couple of games, had a decent chance of winning the league. This lets you start right at the end of the season where all the action is happening, and I hope that is how this works. There's not too much more information on this, but the fact that it does mention things like that makes me think that it could be absolutely massive. Managerial shifts as well does also make me think that maybe in a couple of seasons time, AI managers will be able to get sacked, but again, that doesn't look like that's going to be a feature this year. Instead, it looks like it's only going to be real-life managerial changes. Women's football is an interesting one because it depends on how EA decides to add it. If they add women's football as a separate career mode, then I don't think many people are actually going to use it. However, if they add it into the same database, so you've got players like Bon Mati existing in the same database as Lamine Yamal, and somehow prevent the AI from signing female players with male teams, this could be a really interesting and fun way to make career mode a little bit different to some of the other years. You could start in women's football, manage as someone like Emma Hayes, then see if you can transfer your skills that you've learned in women's football into male football, which is a very different kind of football. So to be honest, this list didn't have the most information I've ever seen. However, the little bits of information on here do seem like they could be massive if they're put into the game properly. I don't know that I trust EA to do that, but if you want to read the press release, I put that in the description. If you want to see the trailer and you haven't already watched it, I'll put that in the description as well. But thank you for watching. Let me know what you think about the future of FC25 in the comments below, or join the Discord where I've been talking about it for the past couple of hours. But thanks for watching. I'll see you soon. Cheers and goodbye.